Welcome to In Support of Families. This is Emmylou Penrod, and my guest today is Cytel Shults. Cytel, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me on today.
And Cytel is a vocal coach, author, songwriter, and heart whisperer. I had the chance to meet her recently and just experienced her amazing personality. And I'm really curious about the heart whisperer. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So I tend to connect with people's hearts really easily, and I'm able to pick up on things that they're feeling and emotions that they're experiencing, but I also am able to help them express more clearly what they're feeling and what they're experiencing, and to be more aware of that. And so that's been a really fun part of my experience.
And you're using music as the medium, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And I have to say, I was very impressed. You know, I was expecting you had advanced degrees and because you are so gifted musically. And yet, as I talked to you, I find out it isn't so much the formal music training you have had as just your gift and your openness to learn. Tell us about that. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so I look back on it now and think, oh my gosh, had I known what I know now, that I'd be doing what I'd be doing. I for sure would have studied music in college, right? So I had a few months of lessons from my mom for the piano when I was 8, and then really took off and just taught myself. If I had questions, any theory questions, I'd go back to her and ask her. And then I started singing when I was about 15 and took a few lessons in college, and really just kind of sung on my own from there because I love it, and had the opportunity not that long ago to take some vocal lessons from an opera singer, and she really allowed me the space to open up my operatic sound, which I had no idea at the time that I had. But it's really incredible. And so now I'm able to really allow the full sound of my voice to come out and just be there. So it's been a really humbling experience to come without all of the accolades that come with having a music degree and such, but it's also allowed me to address the movement that music brings from a really authentic place, because I haven't had all of the technical training. I've been able to explore what music means emotionally from more of a raw place.
I can see the advantage of that. You haven't been hampered by the technical side of you must do it this way. You've been allowed to freely express yourself. So now you're in a great position to help other people express themselves. And I love the way you gratefully accept it as a gift from God, and you are open to his inspiration.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That's definitely a journey, right? Because I think it's so easy. It's so easy for us to see our lack and
Yes.
to focus on what we don't have. Even if we have the accolades, we don't have the right accolades, or we don't have enough accolades. And so it's definitely a journey to be able to claim and declare and proclaim and really get my voice out there to help people, because I didn't have those things. But I really searched to see the importance of the way my journey has been and how that specific journey can help specific people.
And I can just see how you are blessing many lives because you're willing to do that. So you started the company Enjoying My Voice. What is your mission?
My mission is to help people sing and speak their hearts. And it's a really vulnerable thing to do. So so one of the things that I really love to say is, we know that saying, right? Our eyes are the window to our soul. Well,
Yeah.
I really firmly believe that our voice is the door. And oftentimes we kind of keep that door shut because our heart space is so vulnerable. And my desire is to help people unlock that door and then throw the doors wide open so that when they sing or when they speak, people can really feel and see their heart. Because when we do that, we create deep connection with other people. And I think that when we do that, our relationships improve, our lives improve, and we're able to live our missions and fulfill our purposes on like a much grander scale.
Well, I see this as something that applies not only to personal relationships, to family relationships, how you can be a better husband, wife, son, daughter, parent, but also how it could help you in business. How many salespeople are hampered from succeeding because their doors are shut?
Right. Yes. I mean, you go, and this might just be my personal experience, but I would prefer to purchase from a salesperson that I have connected with on a, on a level, versus someone I just walked in and they're like, oh, hey, can I sell you this car, or do you want this pair of shoes? If I connect with someone, right, then I'm more likely to buy from that person, which I think is another reason why they say in all these business classes and in marketing things, relationships are number one.
And you're not the exception. I think everyone would rather buy from someone who's genuine and also who believes in their product, who
Yeah.
is converted to it. So you're offering a service that could benefit individuals, family members, business people, employees. Isn't it,
Yes.
isn't that the fast track to a promotion? Is being open, expressing yourself. So
Yes. So
this
yes.
is for everyone. I love it. Now, you mentioned to me that you have some tips that listeners can take right today and begin to implement. Let's go through those.
Okay, so the first tip, and this is, I'm sure one that people have heard often, right? Take a deep breath, just breathe, right? So here's one of the things that I've really learned in doing vocal training with people through the emotional window and through music, is oftentimes we don't take a deep breath because what we're breathing in is our current life, our current situation. And why would we want to breathe that in if we're struggling in any way, right? Because then we're just breathing in all the struggles. So, tip number one is to focus on breathing in light. So, whatever that means to you, whether that's religious or spiritual, or if that means focusing in on breathing in the sea air, like the smell of the ocean or nature, but focus in on breathing in the light and the goodness, because that will help your body, your entire body, to relax. Because we express with our whole being, we don't just express with our voice, right? And so when we're breathing in that light on a regular basis, it really helps. So I would highly recommend setting a timer, multiple times a day, or just once in the morning and once before you go to bed, to breathe in just even 3 deep breaths, but be very clear in focusing on breathing in the light and breathing in the relaxation.
So it's not just take a deep breath, it's breathe in the light. Focus on the light, the positive. I love that. Awesome. What's next?
Okay, so the second step is our foundation, right? To make sure we have a firm foundation. So our firm foundation, for me, and I think for a lot of people, it is connecting with a higher power or a higher source, whether that's the universe or God or Christ or even your higher self, or whether that's nature, something like that. But really getting grounded in what you believe in, and your source, your higher power, because we in our, regular day-to-day lives tend to not really know what to do next. But when we seek that higher power, whether that's our higher selves or nature or God, we receive inspiration, and we're able to really connect with who we are on a deeper level, and more quickly when we are grounded and when our foundation is firm.
And that is true of any effort you're making on self-improvement. I know it's a vital part of AA or any kind of recovery program. Anytime you want to improve in any area of your life, you need that higher source. Totally agree with that one.
So the third tip that I want to give today is safety. So safety is really huge when we are learning to share our voices and to share our hearts. If we don't feel safe, then we won't do it at all. So the first key is becoming safe within yourself, right? So if you're safe with you, then it doesn't matter what situation you're in, you will always know um, that regardless of how other people react to what you're saying, this is really about you, and their reaction is about them. It also allows you the space to open up and speak, because if you don't feel safe within yourself, then what if everyone else is providing that safety for you, you're still not going to feel safe. So an amazing way that I've discovered to begin experiencing safety is to identify your emotions and to just allow them to be whatever they are without any judgment. A lot of times we have judgment on our anger or our shame, or all of those other things, and we tend to should on ourselves a little bit, like I shouldn't feel that way,
Mm-hmm.
or I shouldn't be angry, or I shouldn't be this mad about it, or I shouldn't be hurt about it. When we don't do that and we just really allow ourselves to be in that feeling that we're in, and we accept it, it creates more safety for within ourselves, for us to not only feel, but then to share how we are feeling about those things.
Well, this also sounds like trust yourself, believe in yourself. And I loved what you said about emotions. Anger isn't right or wrong. Anger freed the slaves. Anger
Right.
channeled correctly has corrected a lot of evils in our history and in our society. So it's using your emotions rather than allowing your emotions to use you.
Yes, exactly. And the first step in order to do that is to allow them to be, and to accept that they are there, and just be unconditionally loving of what you're feeling.
Yeah, and don't judge yourself. I
Right.
love your comment about don't shit on yourself. That's true.
Yes, very true.
Excellent. Excellent. I love all of these tips. So, and the last one is?
The last tip is knowing who you are, right? So a lot of times, I will, and you'll hear too when people speak or when they sing and they're not really sure, their voice will be really quiet, or they'll be really kind of shaky. They'll be a little bit pitchier in their singing. But when someone is firm in who they are and the message that they're sharing, their voice comes across with confidence. It comes across with confidence, right? And it comes
Yes.
sure and firm and loving and all of those things. So one of the steps that I would highly recommend is to sit down today and write 3 things that are who you are. So these aren't necessarily like, oh, I would define myself as a good singer. So that's what you do, right? The difference is
Yes.
who you are. I am compassion. I am joy, I am fun, like, so those types of things, right? And really connect with those and focus in on those 3 things for however long you need, a minimum of a week, I would say, to really get those deep into your system before then you start adding more things to your list of who you are and really gaining that foundation of who you are.
So you're not talking about your roles or
Right,
what you do.
right.
It sounds like your values and the values that you live, like integrity.
Yes. Yep, exactly. Integrity, compassion, connection, like those are innate, they're innate in us. And
Yes.
we all have certain values that are the most important things to us. And when we connect with those and we are sure of those, then we're able to do our dues better. Like it helps me be a better singer when I'm
Yes.
connected to my connection and my compassion.
I believe it. I believe it. So all of these tips you've mentioned are things we can start on right today. We can start right today, breathing in light, connecting with our higher power, and knowing who we are, and trusting and believing in ourselves. You know, sometimes I'll tell people, a lot of times we focused on, like you said, on our mistakes and our lack. You know, take time to just write down. You may even go through your whole life, all of the accomplishments you have made that you haven't even really celebrated or acknowledged yourself for. And you'll probably find you've done a lot more than you realized.
Yes, absolutely. And those, a lot of times, those accomplishments, and so celebration is huge, right? Because then we see progress.
Yes.
But also in those celebrations, we see what we value most. And we also, in those, we see who we are.
Yes. Yes, this is true. So I love your mission. What services do you offer?
So I have a class that I'm doing. It's a group vocal lesson class. It's called the Courage Course. So one of the fun things that I love to do is to help to use music to help create lots of movement in our lives. So I take a specific song that's really about breaking up with fear, which is awesome, and it's sassy and fun. And I think that a lot of times fear is really heavy and it kind of weighs us down and it stops us from being able to make the choices that we want to make. So this course is about being connecting with our fun, light, and sassy sides, and really looking fear in the face and saying, fear, you don't own me. And moving forward and doing those things that we really, truly want to do.
I love it. And I actually had the opportunity to participate in that and thoroughly connected with that song. And it wasn't even a style of music that I particularly listened to, but the message is so powerful. I loved it. And I loved that, you know, combining that with movement. And of course, your enthusiasm and passion were contagious. So I know that is going to be very worthwhile. You know, fear stops us from doing so many things. It may stop us from offering to help a stranger, from applying for a promotion, you know, from following a passion, you know, so, and, and fear of singing in public. If
Yeah,
you
that's kind
can
of a
get
big one,
people
right?
over that one, hey, you are a miracle worker, a true heart whisperer. All right. That class sounds very worthwhile. And what else?
So I also offer one-on-one sessions. I offer them in packages because, right, we can't fix everything about your voice in one session. So I do offer packages. I recommend at least 4 weeks, 4 to 8 weeks are my packages, 4, 6, and 8. And then I also have a heart song program, which is absolutely so fun. It's hard because I want to say it's my favorite, but then it's like choosing my children. Who's my favorite child? Which thing that I offer is my favorite, right? I can't say that it's my favorite. This one is very exciting though. It's where I really help people connect with the expression, all sides of their expression. And then we really open up their heart and I write their heart song for them. So I receive the words and the melody of their heart. And that is very special to me.
Well, it also sounds like discovering their life mission.
Yes. Yes.
Learning about themselves, the heart song. So you think about what that means, the song of your heart. To me, that does sound like life mission.
Yeah, it does. And it really, the connection that you have to your higher power, the connection you have within yourself, and then the connection you have with other people. Those are the three key things that I've noticed that have been in every song that I've written and every heart song program that I've done. Is it always mentions the connection with their higher power. It always mentions the connection with their self, and it always talks about connecting with other people through everything that they've learned.
And isn't that what life is about? Are those
Yes.
connections? Those connections. That is so valuable. So if anyone wants to progress in any area of their life, it's like setting goals. This frees you to set lofty goals and reach them.
Yes, absolutely. I think so. Everything that we do, in my opinion, everything that we do is an expression of where our heart is at, whether we are choosing to not do something or we're choosing to do something, it's an expression. And I want to help people express what they truly want and who they truly are.
So powerful. Okay, how do people contact you?
So I can be reached at enjoyingmyvoice@gmail.com.
All right. So they can email you and take it from there. And do you have any offers today for our listeners?
Yes. When they email me, I can add them to a subscribe list, and I am sending out specific tips for 7 days of tips on how they can sing better and speak better with singing and speaking their hearts.
So you've just offered 4 general tips, but these are more specific.
Yes, these will be very specific and very easy. We tend to think, I want a big change, I need to do something really big. But we want a big change, we need to do something really small. It's the small and simple things that make the biggest difference in our lives.
Oh, I have seen that. Just, for example, health. Just making a few changes in your lifestyle makes a vast difference in your health.
Yes, absolutely.
Same way. Same with your heart, your health.
Yes, exactly. Your heart is your health, right?
Yes, it is.
I read in a book, as I was reading this book once, it really hit me, right? We can be brain dead and still be alive because our heart is pumping. But we can't be heart dead and still have our brain function. Without our heart, we can't function. Our body will not function at all.
And the connections that you mentioned with our higher power, with ourself, and with others, that's the quality of our life.
Yes, absolutely.
Whether it's one filled with joyous relationships and meaning, or just going through the motions.
Right. It's the difference between surviving and thriving.
Yes. Awesome. Cytel, thank you so much for joining us. I love what you're doing. I think it's absolutely awesome. And thank you for the offer for our listeners. And I hope they all take advantage of that.
Thank you so much for having me on. This has been so much fun.
All right. Well, Cytel, you have a great day.
You too. Thanks so much.